Welcome back to another edition of the Here We Go podcast. I am your host, Trent Gang. I'll be honest, folks, last night was a rough game. It was a rough game. And I am seeing virtually every excuse in the book as to why the Steelers lost this game. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time telling you why they're all wrong. So obviously this matchup is an 8-2 Pittsburgh Steelers team going against a 2-8 Cleveland Browns team. Coming off of the Ravens week, it's a short week playing Thursday night football. Tomlin has not been historically good at Thursday night football. Excuse me. Tomlin has also not had a great record after Baltimore weeks where we get a win. On top of that, we have, going into this game, one of the last 8 games in Cleveland. There was a lot of odds stacked up against us in this one as far as the statistics go and the history is gone. And I kept seeing, oh, let's get a blowout. Oh, let's get a blowout. I'm like, it's in Cleveland. The weather is going to be garbage. We just played Baltimore. Folks, this is not going to be a blowout. As a matter of fact, I posted on X to hope just to get a win and stay healthy. Because that should have been what we were all looking at. Oh, well, the weather's why we lost the game. The non-calls on the defensive pass interference with George Pickens, that's why we lost the game. No. None of that mattered at the end of the day. Tomlin's clock management. Could it affected the game? Yeah, sure, it affected the game. Did it lose the game? No. Look, when you have a rivalry, it's very simple. And I talked about this going into the Baltimore week. The team that comes out more motivated and playing more physical wins these games almost every single time. We did not raise our level of play to match the same level of intensity that we saw in Baltimore week. And it's very tough. It's very hard to match that type of intensity 2 weeks in a row, and especially on a short week. We weren't able to do that. Cleveland did. Cleveland was very obviously motivated. Myles Garrett was very obviously motivated. And if you want to be real about something for a minute, for those of you who are saying the conditions cost us the game, we didn't actually start moving the ball until Myles Garrett couldn't get his footing to get around the edge. That's when we started moving the football. Once we slowed some of his pass rush down and made him more of a power pass rusher, that's when we started moving the ball, folks. So I'm sorry, but the elements were being played in by both teams. I hate when you talk about the elements. Yes, does it sometimes hurt the better team in the series? It can. If you're better at the skill positions, the weather does neutralize some things. But the problem was we couldn't run the ball at all early in this game. We'd have a play here and there. And the offense stayed stagnant for an entire first half again. You can't only play one half of football and win in the National Football League. The reason we lost this game wasn't because of a shanked punt. The defense had an opportunity to get off the field. There's a 3rd and 7. We allow a first down. Then another. And then we try to get Nick Chubb into the end zone so we have some time on the clock so we can go score and win the game. I mean, I'm sorry, but like this offense being stagnant for so long is going to cost a game at times. And that's exactly what happened in this one. You can't play an entire half of football, giving up 4 sacks in the first half. If you're Russell Wilson, you can't sit and hold the ball for 4 and 5 seconds. When you know Dan Moore Jr. is on an island against Myles Garrett. And another thing that I just cannot seem to understand, but we do it every damn time we play this team, is Dan Moore Jr. is on an island most of the game. They'll throw a chip in there at times, but for the most part, he's on an island. Dan Moore Jr. is not Trent Williams. And even Trent Williams probably doesn't want to sit and block Myles Garrett one-on-one for the majority of the game with a half-hearted chip every once in a while. I'm sorry, but you have to do more against a player like that. When we played Nick Bosa, we sure put a lot of people around that guy. But we line a tight end up over Garrett, and we give him a little shove, and then we just release. Double team the dude. You know what Cleveland did against TJ Watt almost the entire game? There were 2 guys attached to him at all times, and sometimes they still had a guy chip. That's why he had no effect on the game. Why is Pittsburgh not making that type of an adjustment? That is just stupid. I thought the Browns' front 4 specifically was the difference in this game, if we're being quite honest. I mean, they shut down the run for the most part in the first half. I know Jaylen Warren had some success, but again, it was a broken play here and there where he goes for 16 yards. Another play where he picked up, 9 yards. Other plays, it was like 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. Najee Harris, 2 to 3. You're not establishing a run doing that. And then when Russell Wilson has played a near perfect game outside of holding the ball and taking sacks, you don't continue to throw the ball because of the elements. Listen, he was throwing the ball just fine to every part of the field. He was crushing them with the deep ball. You completely went away from it until we were at a desperation time where we had to score. And then guess what? We put 2 touchdowns on the board. Don't find something that works and then move away from it. This is the first time I've fully criticized Arthur Smith and his play calling because you went to a game plan that you had predetermined before the game that, oh, by the way, the Saints had a ton of success running the football against the Browns, so we're going to run the football. Russ was cooking early in this game. He was the only sign of life in the offense, and we continued to run the football. The defense gets a turnover, forced fumble, run, check down pass that goes for a near first down, run, turnover on downs. I mean, we cannot just look at the offensive identity for an entire season and predetermine games based on that. You can't say, oh, the elements are getting a little bit worse. We better stop throwing the football. Why the hell did you bring Russell Wilson here if that's all you wanted to do? You could have just left Justin Fields in. He's more athletic. If you weren't going to throw the ball, you should have just left Justin Fields in the game. And then we started throwing again because we were desperate. Russell was just fine. He was finding Pat Freiermuth in this game. He was finding Calvin Austin in this game late when we needed it. Van Jefferson had a big catch in this game. He was trying to get Pickens. And you can say both of those plays against Emerson were defensive pass interference. I actually thought both of them were. He didn't locate the ball. He impeded the path between George Pickens and the football, tripped him up twice. That was not incidental contact. But you know what? The guys were fighting a little bit with their hands, and the ref decided to let it go. So guess what? It is what it is. If we want to be honest with each other, if George Pickens doesn't break his route to the outside and stays straight up the seam, Russ hits him for another touchdown in that game. But Pickens sees the route differently than Russell Wilson does, and the ball ends up way behind him. There are a number of reasons in this game that we lost that have nothing to do with all of the excuses that I'm seeing online. Minkah Fitzpatrick's not any good anymore. They didn't even throw the ball near Minkah Fitzpatrick. What are you talking about? You want to blame somebody, blame Joey Porter Jr., who let a guy like Jerry Jeudy go off, who hasn't gone off in the NFL hardly ever. Was he grabbing at Joey's face mask and pushing off? Sure. Did that number 3 tight end push off on Dante Jackson? 100%. But the refs didn't cost you this game. You can blame them all you want. Neither of those plays resulted in a touchdown. You still had opportunities to stop them, and you didn't. I get tired of the excuses. Just acknowledge the fact that Cleveland came out and played more physical than we did. They were 4 for 4 on 4th down. That's 4 opportunities to get off of the field and get the ball back to your offense, and the defense didn't do it. They were all short yardage situations. That is simply physicality. That had nothing to do with the referees, had nothing to do with the elements. They came out ready to go. They had the home crowd behind them. And we lost. Quite honestly, I thought the game was over in the 3rd quarter because we weren't really showing any signs of life at all. The defense gets some turnovers. The offense actually starts moving the ball and scoring. And then you're like, oh, yeah, okay, maybe we do have a chance at this thing. And the shank punt, don't get me wrong, it absolutely set us up in a horrible situation. But we have been the 2nd best defense in the NFL all year. You needed 1 stop, and that game was over. We had the ball on offense late in the game with a chance to run the clock out. And how about this as an alternative to complaining about the defensive pass interference that wasn't called? Run the freaking football. Make them burn their timeouts. Maybe you pick up a 1st down running the football. Justin Fields was in the game. Utilize that zone read that he does so well. Hope he picks up a 1st down, just like he did in Baltimore on Sunday. I mean, guys, like, you're complaining about the wrong things. Play calling killed us in this game. Clock management definitely hurt us in this game. A shank punt definitely hurt us in this game. Giving up so many fourth down conversions definitely hurt us in this game. But the bottom line is that Cleveland came out and played more physical. And that actually won the game. And even when they faltered down the end and kind of completely fell apart there for a moment, they made the necessary plays to win this game. We didn't make those plays. The AFC North, always, you throw out the records, and almost always, every single time, a team is more physical, plays more aggressive. That's the team that's going to win the game. So if you want to put blame on anything, I'd put the blame on the physicality, our energy levels. And again, I'm not faulting these guys. That's hard. That's a hard thing to do. I hate Thursday night football. Not just this week. I hate Thursday night football every week. The game is usually trash. These guys cannot come back from a Sunday night game or a Sunday afternoon game and put on their best show on a Thursday. These games are always just complete garbage. Because the human body is not made to withstand a beating on a Sunday and turn around and be asked to do it again on a Thursday. It is stupid. NFL players for decades have had routines on how to just get themselves ready to play the following Sunday. Asking them to play 3 days earlier than that is insane. But it's an opportunity for the NFL to make more money. And that's the bottom line. It has nothing to do with player safety. It has nothing to do with entertaining because these games typically aren't that entertaining. They're usually pretty sloppy because guys can't get ready in 4 days. And they always schedule games where there's 3 games in like 11-day stretches or 10-day stretches. That's not for player safety either, but that's how they do these. I personally don't like it, but that's what they're asked to do. And this week, Cleveland did it better. I thought we did a good job limiting Nick Chubb. I think right now Nick Chubb still doesn't quite look like the same player. Still has fantastic vision, and I'll say that. Nick Chubb is definitely still just a guy with fantastic vision, but his burst isn't back. And if I was Cleveland, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, I wouldn't even play that guy. You're not going to the playoffs. I mean, you don't have anything more to play for this season than pride. Why risk this guy getting re-injured and losing him for his career? That part I don't understand. I don't know. I'd shut him down for the season and just be like, cut our losses. You already know this team wants to go get another quarterback next year. Pair a young quarterback up with a healthy Nick Chubb. And for this offensive line, missing both tackles and a backup tackle, our pass rush never really got home. We had Nick Herbig get there to get the one strip sack. We had Patrick Queen come up the middle and force what was another controversial call. Was it grounding? Was it not grounding? I don't really care. They still got set back 5 yards. And you still didn't stop them. So personally, I think a lot of you out there are making excuses as to why this team lost. I think you can draw up whatever you want on the X's and O's and show why we lost. You can talk about the refs. You can talk about the conditions. You can talk about the short week. But at the end of the day, it was equal ground for both Pittsburgh and Cleveland played better. They played more physical. They played with more energy. And the offense, once again, came out completely flat, falling flat on their face, time and time again, not moving the football. If the offense scores early in this game, I think we'd have put this thing away early. Not a blowout, but we'd have kept the lead and held control of this game for the majority of the game. But that's not what happened. That's what you need to blame. Slow start by the offense and a complete lack of physicality and energy by the entire team. Although the defense did play much better as the game went on, and they did force 3 turnovers in this game, the offense just could not capitalize on anything. And that should be what we're worried about as a fan base. So that's all I have for today. I hope you all like, share, subscribe. Share your thoughts on this. You can tell me I'm wrong, but I'm telling you right now, I'm not. This is exactly what cost us the game. And if we go into Cincinnati with a flat offense and play this Cincinnati team, you're going to have a long day, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to be crying about how we just lost first place in the AFC North. So hopefully we can put this behind us, have a good weekend, get ready for Cincinnati. We got a nice long break in between this and Cincinnati. Hopefully our team gets it together. So let me know what y'all think and have a good day.